Don Exodus 2 has agreed to debate me. I received a message from him today. So, Don Exodus 2 and I are going to have a debate. And after that, if Harry Reasoner is still interested in debating me, I will debate him as well.
My first point concerning Harry Reasoner is not so clear-cut as the rest will be, but having spoken with him, he is no longer interested in a debate after all this frustration that Nephilim Free causes. However, neither has Nephilim Free attempted to contact Harry Reasoner, and this is because the creationists have had their moment in the sun trying to prove atheists to be cowards, and they have no need or no desire to seek out any other combatants.
So, there is a coming debate. I don't know when it will be. I suggested to him that we do it this Sunday. So I don't know what his schedule is like. I'm able to do it Sunday, but I don't know that Don Exodus 2 is. So I have to wait and see what he says in return about whether or not he's free to do it this Sunday. If not, maybe we could do it the week after that, or the week after that, or whatever.
The debate ended up not being held that immediate Sunday, but instead was the week after that, June 6th. Yet, when things fell through yet again, why was the debate not once again postponed? That is because the creationists got the moment they were fishing for. A 10-minute clip of ShockofGod's radio show, which they could use to falsely paint atheists and evolutionists as cowards. And so with this, they ran back to the intellectual shadows where creationism belongs.
And it was this cycle of stupidity and incompetence that basically prompted me to post the final video that I spoke of earlier, in which I state my terms, tell him where I'm going to be, and that I hope that he would show up. That's how I left it. Neff replied to that with this video.
I want you to make a video agreeing to those terms and put that on your channel. If you don't, there won't be a debate. Okay, those are my conditions for debate. You agree to them or you don't. If you don't make a video and put it on your channel by Friday at, say, 6 p.m., the debate is off. Okay?
But the thing is, I never made such a video. So, according to his own words, it was he who called off the debate.
To drive home my thesis, let us take a look at what Shock was doing in the week leading up to June 6th. Starting with a video which he released shortly after Nephilim Free's video, which Don Exodus just discussed.
So I have no doubt that Evan will, Nephilim Free, because when he says he's going to do something, he does it, and he's not afraid, he's not going to chicken out. I do not really know this person, so I can't really say, what his intentions are, if he's going to chicken out, but I hope not. His channel is Don Exodus 2. So hopefully he does show up, because it seems like Evan and him, as they're going back and forth, it seems like Evan's trying to still keep the debate going, but he's trying to get out of it.
Does ShockofGod's assessment of the situation reflect reality? Let's continue with a clip from his video the Saturday prior to the debate. This, of course, being after Friday, the deadline for Don Exodus to accept Nephilim Free's unreasonable terms. Therefore, Nephilim Free would have called off the debate. Does Shock and his update reflect reality?
Alright guys, let's give you a little update on the debate tomorrow, Sunday, June 6th. Here's the deal guys, tomorrow you're going to be meeting, all of us are meeting, there should be about 1,000 of us there, or more, right here at blogtalkradio.com/ShockOnNow.
Not only does Shock make no mention of Nephilim Free's terms having been expired, he also doesn't make any mention of what is at this point was a well-known fact that Don Exodus 2 and the League of Reason were going to have a blog TV show at the same time, in which they would be expecting Nephilim Free to show up there. He makes no mention of this, and when people in the comments section try to inform him, and more importantly his subscribers about it, those comments were deleted. However, let's take a look at some comments that he did allow. As you can see, Shock's subscribership were salivating over the great moment to come. They couldn't have known at this point whether or not Don Exodus would show up for real. Or did they? Did they know that he would be in Blog TV and would not be going to Blog Talk Radio? Did they know the moment was coming and they were going to exploit it for everything it was worth? The last video from Shock which I want to discuss was from Sunday morning, the day of the debate. In this screenshot you can see that Shock made no mention of the specific time that the debate would be starting. This shows that they were planning to postpone it the hour which they ended up doing. I have a suspicion that they did this in order to further frustrate Don Exodus in the event he should try to call in on time. Having him wait an hour would discourage him from being there an hour later when they would finally start the show. And as you can see here, when pressed for an answer, ShockofGod dodges the question. Let's now take a look at Shock's radio show itself. The audio for the first two clips are going to be pretty poor, and I apologize, but the third clip will be of sufficient quality, I'm sure. Again, take note of whether or not what Shock is saying reflects reality.
Now, Psalms, there's some people saying in the chat, it says, clearly Don Exodus 2 has backed out of the debate. He cannot defend the theory of evolution he believes in.
Now, I was there in that comment section at the time, and I, like many other atheists and evolutionists, were informing both Shock and his listeners that Don Exodus 2 is in Blog TV. We were talking about the reality of the situation, how Don was waiting for Nephilim Free there. All Nephilim Free had to do was call him up on Skype, and we might even be able to simulcast in both places. But does what he say on the air reflect that reality? No. He chooses one comment from a sycophant who has distorted the truth.
Okay, Think Medical, go ahead, you're on the air.
Oh, sorry, I was just listening in via Skype. I didn't really want to go on the air, but I'll...
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm happy to stay on the air, but...
oh, yeah, definitely stay on. Now, do you know Don Exodus too, or are you a friend of his?
I've been listening... not a direct friend, but I believe he's I'm not sure, but I believe he's talking on a show on...
Yeah, tell him to come here.
Yeah, I tried to ring him, but
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, tell him to come here. I'm only going to wait 2 more minutes. He's got the entire audience waiting here.
Shock was told time and time again what was really going on, and yet for each caller he brought on the air, he acted surprised when it wasn't Don Exodus 2. In fact, the caller I just played for you didn't even intend to be on the air, but Shock brought him on because he has political theater to conduct. And in fact, when this caller informs him audibly that Don Exodus is in Blog TV and everything's going on over there, Shock starts to cut him off. Did you catch that? Also, I think Shock knows very well what the reality of the situation is, but he's obfuscating. He's playing political theater with the facts. And that's proven by that last statement he makes at the end of that clip I just played. He is 2 minutes away at that point from the moment he's been waiting for, and he's not going to let anything get in his way.
Well, guys, it doesn't look like Don Exodus is showing. This is not good. So here's what I would like to do. Since Don Exodus is not showing up to the debate, now Evan, are you confident in your beliefs? Like, would you be willing to take unscripted, unrehearsed calls or questions from the chat about what would you like to talk about?
Sure, I would. I'd love to do that. I would like to point out some real flaws. If Don Exodus 2 is not going to be here to debate me, as he agreed to be, I'd like to point out a few of his fallacious arguments as well.
Well, you know, if I could say something, Evan, well, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, so does Don Exodus 2, he believes he's an evolutionist?
Yes.
Maybe the reason he's not here is he has evolved into this type of animal.
And thus, Shock has his moment. You can see he even prepared an audio clip for the moment to be celebrated with. Make no mistake, there was nothing authentic or unscripted about this. This was political theater through and through. This is typical creationist tactics. They circumvent peer review. When that doesn't work for them, they play word games when they can't stand up to science. When that doesn't work, they resort to political theater, without the truth on their side, despite the fact that they claim it is. They have nothing left to do but to obfuscate.